Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Setham and welcome back to another episode of Sea Dogs to Each His Own. So as you can see, we are back in the town where our brother is prisoner. This is the beginning of the Dutch Gambit questline, and we'll do the English version. We have already completed the Dutch version, so there's the English version, which is basically working for a privateer, and there is one more where you work for a secret organization. This will be the main save, off of which I will do the Flying the Jolly Roger and Pirate Saga questline. So I am going to stock up on everything because I've not got anything at the moment. This is a very old save, which I brought it up to this level so that I can just continue from here when we do the third version of the third version of the main quest, and that is a Dutch Gambit. So that means we will need soldiers' pistols, we will need the amulets, we will need plenty of lead balls as well as grape shot and gunpowder to stock up on, and obviously we will also need doubloons, as those will be required for the mission. So might as well pick them up now whilst we are doing all these other bits and pieces, because there will be a time where these will be required after we complete the Dutch Gambit questline. Also, we will need plenty of doubloons, so I'm going to stock up on that as well. And if I remember correctly, we will also need quite a few healing potions later on, especially after the Dutch Gambit. So obviously, I might as well stock up whilst we are doing this. I have not yet talked to my brother because I thought it would be important to include that as a part of this version of the Dutch Gambit questline. So if you folks find yourself enjoying this episode and this series, please do not forget to support me and the channel by hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and why not check out some of my other videos here on the channel. Who knows, you might just enjoy them. As we've done this already in the first version of the Dutch Gambit questline, and that was for the Dutch, I did go through it a bit quicker. But from here on, because we are doing the English version, things will be somewhat different in terms of dialogues, and I will, as usual, go through them fairly slow so that people can read them. I did manage to find a bag of doubloons, which is quite handy. So I'm just going through my inventory to see what I've got, because everything is somewhat new to me at this point in time. This is obviously a brand new save, and I actually used the save from when we went and spoke to Fayday. I did play a bit off camera just to catch up with the bits that needed catching up, and bringing the save to a point where we can also start the Dutch Gambit questline that is for the secret organization.
Right,
what do you have to say?
Down on me.
So as we carry on with this particular version of the Dutch Gambit, I will, I think at this point in time, make a cut or two just until we bring things up to speed. I will be stopping in quite a few towns to check out what they have to sell. As you can see, I have managed to capture a corvette, which is now part of my squadron, as I am on a sloop, and so therefore I am not very well defended, whereas the corvette will come in very, very handy. I do also recommend that you do get yourself a corvette if you can, or a powerful ship, because the first part of this version of the Dutch Gambit is actually quite difficult, especially if you are playing it like I am on medium difficulty. So we will have to fight a really nasty squadron of ships. I'm also going to show you my approach to it, because as I said, we are starting from the beginning, therefore we don't really have a lot of stuff here that can help us. We are not skilled in just about anything. We have to build up everything from scratch. I'm also going to save this time around all the other bits and pieces that we we gather. So rings, amulets, necklaces, everything that we find I will save, because as I said at the beginning of this video, this will be the main save for later gameplay. I do like the English version of the Dutch Gambit, so I also like the rewards. So for that reason, I'm going to keep this as my main save. So that means all the junk that we find predominantly will go into my chest. We will want it for alchemy and other such recipes and things, which I will learn later on, and those items will be required. So we're going to quickly save here. As you can see, I have kind of cleared out most of my saves just to keep things easy and less confusing. Alright, gonna make another save. I'm gonna make a new save just in case. I don't really, I mean, the reason I'm making another save is just in case I mess this one up. I do want 2 saves at the same point in case I do something stupid or something happens that is unforeseen. Also, while I am at it, I am probably going to get in a lot of trouble with the Spanish. Whoa, bad pirate, go away. Okay, you've made me take a bit of a detour. As I was saying, I am going to get in trouble with the Spanish. I do fully intend to get a bounty put on my head. And the reason behind that is once you have a bounty, you will have bounty hunters coming for you. And this is a game about war, and war can be quite profitable. And that's the way I look at it. If they send ships after me, I can then board them, capture them, sell them, and make a hefty amount of money. Also, it will help me with my skills in terms of gaining new skills and learning new abilities. And one of the things I need is I want the musket salvo for when we board ships, as well as the ability to raise the Dutch and French flags. Those will be required later on. Dutch flag will let us into Spanish towns if we do have a trading license, and I believe in the flying the Jolly Roger quest line, you will need the Spanish flag as a requirement of one of the missions. Might as well sort out our guards here. We do want to give them a fighting chance. Now I've chosen 2 that have the highest amount of, okay, so he's already equipped it. So I've chosen the 2 that have the highest amount of health, as obviously they will be fighting. And having a high amount of health will increase their survivability, especially seeing as some of the fights might be somewhat more difficult. So this time around we need to speak to Longway, I believe his name is, or something like that. Let's see if he's here. So we need to find a way to speak to Longway. This is his house, and we'll see if he's here, but I think we need to speak to someone who will then recommend us to Longway. If I remember correctly. Yeah, he's not here. But this is the room that we will be coming in to most often. So I think we need to find Charlie Nipple in his house, and then we need to talk to him. He will give us a mission that has been assigned to Longway, but Longway is thinking of backing down and refusing to do the job because it's a very dangerous job. So we get the job, obviously, and this will be our test. At the end of this quest line, you do get Charlie Nipple as an officer, and he is an awesome cannoneer, so he's definitely worth having. Which is why I prefer this particular questline, especially seeing as I do enjoy the naval battle. I do need a good cannoneer, or a person that can, of course, man the cannons effectively. Let's see what we have here in terms of people. No, do not leave, you darn stupid officer. Not now. Your services are needed. This guy is an officer here. Let's see what he can do. Nope, I guess he doesn't want to talk to us. Alright, so I'm probably going to do a bit of a cut here. I'm going to be looking around to see what other bits and pieces and prepare for stuff that I need. And stuff like getting a full crew and all that kind of stuff. So I'll see you folks in a little bit. Alright, one thing that I need to point out. You need to have a positive reputation in general to be able to talk to Charlie Nipple.
It's our responsibility to be on guard.
I'm also going to repair my ship because we will actually get into a fight. If you do not have a positive reputation, Charlie Nipple will not talk to you. I'm also going to show you how to get a positive reputation if you have a negative reputation. So what I have done is I have gotten into a battle with French, obviously off camera. I have boarded their ships, sold their ships, captured the captains. That is very important. You must capture the captains. So, currently speaking, my reputation is negative. That means I cannot start the English version of the Dutch Gambit. So I'm going to wait here until daytime. And I will need to gain a positive reputation. This is easily done. And I'll show you how to do it. Let's see what you have today. I am thinking of getting duplicates of amulets that I already have, but at this current time I don't have all that much money, so it's going to be expensive for me, especially seeing as I have 2 ships in my squadron, and obviously that does cost quite a bit of money.
You can get 2 products for the price of 1.
We also need to keep our ships stocked up with food and rum and medicines and all that stuff. Rum is particularly expensive as well. Okie dokie. And that's about all the stuff that you have that we might need. So obviously my reputation, as I said before, is negative. Now I have a hold full of prisoners. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. As you can see, I am a rascal, so he will not talk to me until I improve my reputation. Also, my officers' loyalty isn't all that great, which is one thing I wanted to show as well. But I do have plenty of prisoners. So what we're going to do is we are going to release the prisoners.
Let me go, Captain.
That's 1.
Let me go, Captain.
We'll let this guy go as well.
Let me go, Captain.
There we go, voila. Our reputation has now increased.
What are you gonna do to me? Let me go, Captain.
I think that's all that we had in our hold. Our reputation is now positive. If you still need to release more officers, then just go and get into some more battles. Capture the ships. The point is you must capture the officers in order to be able to release them. Now, Charlie Nipple should be able to talk to us. Should want to talk to us, actually. Should want to give us the quest. I want to see what you have to say. We also have an interesting little quest line that we will work towards. So I have found a thing called Magna Rosa. That is a special herb that will lead us to learning some really interesting recipes. You can find this scattered throughout the world. Once you do, you need to speak to the gypsies that walk around the towns. Do not, whatever you do not sell it to them, as it is quite an important thing. They will offer quite a decent amount of money for it, if you ask me, but do not sell it to them. You need to find one that is willing to talk. Before you get to the gypsy bit, you need to talk to all of the merchants that sell potions and stuff like that, and ask them about the Magna Rosa and what it is. One of them will eventually tell you that she's seen the gypsies, who will pay a lot of money for it, and they have a use for it which is secret to them, and they might not want to share with you. Then you go around the towns trying to find a gypsy that will talk to you and recommend you to some person who will then tell you more and all that kind of stuff. The people that will give you that information is quite random in the game, so it's worth talking to all the gypsies in the towns that you go until you get to the right person. So now we are picking up the English version of the Dutch Gambit. He will tell us a bit of a story about a long way. Is it long way? Or I think that's what he was called. Anyways, or is it Richard? Something like that. Something like that. Anyways, he will tell us something interesting, a story about his superior, let's call it that at the moment, because I don't really remember what he was called. In that he was meant to do a certain job but is afraid of doing it, so he therefore assigns that task to us, and if we complete it, we then get to see his superior. I can't remember what he was called. I'm getting my names confused now. So basically we need to fight a little squadron. I say little with, you know, sarcasm. It's quite a strong squadron. For a ship. So yeah, we need to fight a strong squadron of ships to capture a ship that's carrying silver. And as you can imagine, any ship that carries things that are very valuable will be very well protected. And we don't really have anything that is powerful enough to deal with that squadron. So that is why I have a corvette. Hopefully I will manage to do that. It might take me a couple of attempts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and guide that squadron on the main map into an enemy fort. So an enemy fort for them, very important there. We don't want to have that fight in a Spanish fort. That will just wreck us. So we're going to probably try and guide that ship into, say, a French fort. Or an English fort, an English town, that's it. Because France and the Dutch are friends. However, France and English are not friends. So, or basically said, are not at peace. So, I'm going to want to guide that squadron into an English town so that I can use the fort as a means of dealing with the problems. You'll see exactly what I mean later on in this video, if not in the next video, but it is a very, very difficult fight, and I guess as usual, as you probably are used to it now, it does require several saves. So let's see, one thing we need to do is we need to have a full crew on both ships. So on my way to our destination, I will be stopping by all of the towns to fill up our crew. And obviously before heading out, you do want to make sure that your ships are fully ready for a tough battle. Make sure you have all your cannons prepared and everything, so let's go. Okay, we are now prepared. I have done a few cuts here and there, so you guys will see a few things. I'm going to try and make this as seamless as possible so that you folks kind of get the idea of this. This is, as I said before, a difficult fight coming up, and the ship should be somewhere around here. Hopefully this won't take me too many attempts. Ah, there it is. That's the one. So I need to be slightly ahead of it, because I'm going to guide it into a enemy fort for this particular ship. So as you can see, it wants to avoid combat, especially when we are on the main map. So I'm going to try and cut it off and make it go into a direction that I want. Oh, freaking pirates and a storm. Brilliant. This might not go down too well. I'm hoping to have some success there. I want to put it in Antigua. That's where I want the fight to go down. And obviously we don't want to have a battle whilst we are in a storm. That's not going to end very well for us. So as you can see, I'm kind of keeping up the same speed as the ship. Do not sail too far ahead of it, because if you do, this is what will happen. It will try and go around, and as I said before, I'm trying to get it into the fort. There we go. That should suffice. I think, I hope. Oh dear. Alright, so this is what we are dealing with. We have our corvette there. I'm obviously on the sloop. There is, I think it's called an Indian, which is a very powerful ship compared to what we have in our squadron, and two Sebecs, which are fast and powerful at the same time. I think this is like, what, my 4th attempt at this, currently speaking, so do bear in mind this is going to be a very nasty fight. I am going to try and fight it off a bit off of my sloop if I can, just because I'm more skilled to use a sloop. Once I have switched over to the corvette, I will be at a massive disadvantage because I am not prepared to captain such a ship. So I will incur quite a few penalties. So what I'm going to try and do now, because I am at an advantage on the sloop in that I don't have any penalties, I will try and damage their sails as much as possible. Obviously my sloop will incur quite a bit of damage, and as you can hear by the sounds of the cannons, they do have fairly powerful cannons. Oh my lord, my corvette is taking so much damage. And here's the problem, I cannot tell my corvette to sail away because it tends to sail right in between these ships, and it'll do so much damage to them. I'm going to try and see if my corvette will follow me towards the fort. That's where I want to fight them. So I'm going to go towards the fort. I'm going to obviously continue firing chain shot at them. I was just looking at what was going on and where each of the ships are located. I want to also try and split up the squadron. Now if they come towards me, they will be more closer to the fort, which also means that the fort will land more hits on them. So I do want to try and use the fort as much as I can to my advantage. And as you can see, my corvette is quite close to those other two ships, and as a result it's taken quite a bit of damage, and that stupid captain is just doing stupid things. Ooh, you are annoying. Just get over here. You're damaging my ship, and the more damage that thing takes, the harder it's going to be for me. Come on. I'm gonna have to go and pick that corvette up because it's just... oh. It's just causing problems, that thing. I was hoping to kite, or to bring my corvette into the fort where it's gonna be defended, but as you can see, the captain's not very bright, is he? So we're gonna swap ships now. I am going to take a lot of ammunition off of the sloop and put it on the corvette, because guess what? We are going to miss a lot of our shots. So we're going to need to empty out some of this cargo. I do want to keep the ship silk, because that is going to be good later on. I kind of now wish that I had some sailcloth and some timber to repair my ship, and as you can see, I've lost a lot of crew now. Load the buckshots. Wow, that Sebek is pretty darn fast. Right, so my sloop can stay there. I'm gonna try and get close enough to it. Oh my lord, so many cannonballs coming towards me. I'm gonna try and board this ship and capture it. I could sink them. I don't want to. That's the thing. This is money for me from where I'm standing, so I really desperately want to capture the ships and the cargo that they have, and obviously sell it for a profit. The only thing that we really need out of the squadron is that big ship. You don't have to capture them if you don't want to. You can sink them. But because of the class of the ships, they will fetch in quite a hefty amount of money. Obviously, our task will not be an easy one. They are all fairly powerful ships. I am not skilled to captain a corvette. So when you do this mission, if you decide to do this mission, well, if you decide to go down this route, you might want to sink them. Oh lord, he's firing buckshot. Oh my lord, that was a critical hit. I am glad you did not shoot me with that. That was promising. There we go, that's what I wanted. Don't want to give him a chance to reload his cannons, because he will completely demolish our crew. Alright, well, that was easy enough. And that, my friends, is why you want to have the what was it? What was the skill called? The musket salvo. That is very important. The musket salvo sorted out most of the Sebek's crew, which made my boarding that much easier. Obviously, bear in mind, if you have that ability, there will be captains or NPC captains that will also have that ability, so do bear in mind that does factor in for quite a bit. It is quite good to check out the ships that you will be fighting against, because if you have a good spyglass, it will tell you if the captain has the musket salvo. If that is the case, you want to reduce the opponent's crew to its bare minimum before boarding. That way it will do a minimum amount to your crew, and obviously your musket salvo will do a higher damage to the enemy crew. So I do want that. That is good. That is doubloons. We like doubloons. That is money after all. I'm gonna wait for this guy to use up all of his stamina. There we go. There's one pellet to the face. And this is annoying because I don't have, like I said, any skills. I'm basically doing a minimum amount of damage. So these fights with the captains will take a very long time. So that means obviously I am going to rely on my gun quite heavily to do this amount of damage and take them down. And we are coming to the end of the time that I have set for this particular episode. So this might mean it will be a 2-part episode. Obviously, we'll have to finish off this guy first. But yes, once we finished off and boarded the ship and captured it, I am going to end the episode here. So join me in the next episode to see how I resolve this. And as I said, my intention is to capture all 3 ships. It is a good financial gain if you can do that. The captains themselves are not that difficult to fight. The ships and the squadron that you are fighting is somewhat tricky. Okay, he's not got much left on his health bar, so we should be able to finish this guy off quite quickly if we don't make very many big mistakes. Come on, just go down already. It's like I'm using the heavy attacks and I'm barely doing anything to him. Thank God for the pistol. Anyways, we are coming to the end of this episode. I do hope that you have enjoyed it. If you have, please don't forget to join me in the next episode where we will continue with this particular fight. It might be a very lengthy fight, so be prepared for that. Also, if you have enjoyed this episode, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. And why not check out some of my other videos here on this channel? Who knows, you might just enjoy them. Until next time, stay safe, folks.